The state parks in Wisconsin highlight unique geological features, historic significance, or cultural significance to the area they reside. They also provide educational opportunities for people of all ages to learn about these unique features through self-guided tours or volunteer-provided events in the park. Today, we are visiting High Cliff State Park in Calumet County. The major geological features of the park are its limestone cliffs, which are part of the Niagara Escarpment. The location also hails historic value with its old kilns and general store from when the area was a limestone quarry operation between the late 1800s to mid-1900s. Plus, the park is on the National Register of Historical Places due to the effigy mounds that were originally constructed 1,000 to 1,500 years ago. Welcome to the Wisconsin State Parks. High Cliff State Park isn't all stuffy with geology and history, don't let me fool you. There is fun to be had in the park as well. Swimming, hiking, biking, horseback riding, camping, just a few things. It's not all nerdy stuff, people. After entering the park, you can go to the right to the marina, straight to the beach, or left to the rest of the park. On the right here is the lime kiln trailhead and the remains of the old kilns. Next up is the side of the escarpment. On video it doesn't look steep, but believe me, it is. To the right are the campsites, effigy mounds, and horseback riding trails. To the left is the observation tower and hiking trails. I biked through the North Trail System, South Trail System, Open Field Trail, Woodland Trail, and the Red Bird Trail. These trails cover all sorts of Wisconsin countryside, from thick trees to grasslands, cliff sides, and bare limestone. These paths take you through most of the park on top of the escarpment. It's cool to see it all go by, but you didn't get to see the cliffs very well, so let's go look at them. The end, or beginning, depending on where you start, of the Red Bird Trail brings you to the statue of Red Bird himself. chief of the Winnebago tribe from 1778 to 1828. His legacy involves fighting back against the Americans encroaching on native lands for lead mining. He did this by leading the Winnebago War in 1827. His statue overlooks Lake Winnebago below. The plaque at his base reads, "A distinguished Wisconsin Indian in authentic tribal costume of 1827." It was presented in 1961. He oversees the preservation of the land as it has recovered from the limestone mining that took place on that spot. Onward from there is a 40-foot tall observation tower. Sadly, it was closed due to COVID-19. Probably an effort to keep people from gathering too close and touching shared surfaces, I assume. Some of these observation towers in Wisconsin were built in the 30s, and a couple have been permanently shut down and tore down due to being deemed unsafe. I hope that the people of Wisconsin can find the money to replace them and keep the tradition of families climbing these observation towers alive. Near the camping area of the park, there is the Indian Mound Trail. It's located right next to a good overlook of the lake. Here is where you can have a short hike and observe the effigy mounds left behind from the woodland tribes of the area between 1,000 to 1,500 years ago. While they may not appear to be much from just looking at them in this video, similar mounds are known to contain human remains and artifacts. In fact, the panther-shaped mound in the park is 285 feet or 87 meters long. While the area of the park once held 30 of these mounds, the mining operation destroyed all but the remaining 9. All around the area are trails to wander if you like, but we will return to the bottom of the Niagara Escarpment and approach the Lime Kiln trailhead. This area of the park has the old general store, which is operated from 1855 to 1969, before being converted into a museum to showcase its own history and the quarry's history. This year, buildings like this were shuttered and we won't be able to take a look inside. Around the corner is the Lime Kiln Trail and the remains of the quarry's lime kilns. These kilns were used to bake the rock down to lime. The kilns were heated to around 2,200 degrees Fahrenheit or 1,204 degrees Celsius to make this process happen. At its height, the facility was able to turn out around 500 barrels of lime a day. It's a nice piece of history just before taking on a trail that can take you up the escarpment itself, so make sure to stay hydrated. The lower part of the trail is relatively flat and easy to hike, as it hugs the shoreline of Lake Winnebago. Meanwhile, the upper trail is more rough and steeper to hike. It definitely keeps you engaged. I took this trail in the reverse direction the week before, and to put it simply, I was not prepared. The trail isn't always soggy like this. It had rained that morning before I arrived, and, just hasn't dried up yet. If, after that hike, you need to cool off, take a dip in the water at the beach near the entrance of the park. Roll yourself down the hill and wade into the cool waters of Lake Winnebago. It has a sandy bottom with some rocks, but plenty of shallow area to bring small children into the water. This is one of the few good swimming spots on the lake. As the lake is very shallow, it tends to breed algae very quickly. But sports monster sturgeon you can pull out of the depths in winter. And those things can get around to be like 7 feet long, 240 pounds, and up to 120 years old. There's a lot to do here with 7 trails to explore, waters to soak in or boat in, camping, or just connecting with nature. You'll be far enough away from town to find a bit of quiet without having to travel too far off the beaten path. Take advantage of the opportunity to see High Cliff State Park while you are getting out and traveling Wisconsin.